Hello and welcome back to the channel and the Suzuki GSX-S750Z from 2019. Today we're going to give you an honest review from an owner, somebody who's not a journalist and somebody who's not being paid to tell you whatever you need to know. I'm going to just tell you, well, how my experience has been with this bike since I bought it. I bought this bike in 2019, it is 2022, so that's 3 years ago almost. I have on the clock so far 16,747 miles. I bought it brand new. So what can I tell you about this bike? This bike, well, it's an awesome bike. I really love it. Nicknamed her Sookie, and Sookie has been a warhorse. She has been awesome throughout this whole 3 years. So how have I been riding those 16,000 miles? Well, mostly commuting. I have 3 bikes, as you might, if you follow the channel, you already know. I have 3 bikes. This one, the Sookie, I have the Black Pearl, and I have Blue Demon. So as you can see, it is clearly very easy to maneuver, and the low RPM assist is something that is going to help you a lot. So yeah, being a naked bike, very easy to do slow speed maneuvers, even though I'm not the greatest. I always use my bikes to commute. I don't have a car. This has been my lifestyle for the past 5 years. What happens when it rains? People ask me. Well, I wear rain gear. What happens when it's cold? Well, I wear cold gear. And I get cold and I get wet, but with style. Anyway, back to the bike. So the GSX-S750Z, what does the Z stand for? The C means is black. It's like space without the stars, ain't it? As you can see, I've kept it almost stock. I like to keep my bikes stock. I don't like messing with them. I know. Okay, so how is this thing on a daily commute? Well, as you can see, it is very easy to go and filter through traffic. You have these handlebars that are wide but not so wide as you're going to be hitting people's mirrors, and with your upright position so you can be actually on top of the cars and see where you're going. So very easy for you to commute with this bike. It does have Suzuki's low RPM assist, so that's also something that could help you on the daily commute. So one thing is that the clutch lever is really hard. So if you're going to be stuck in traffic for 30 minutes, your hand is going to get really tired. So the low RPM assist helps, but you still have to be pulling in the clutch a lot in heavy traffic, and that is something that Suzuki needs to work on on its bikes. Hopefully the new 1000 doesn't have that issue, and unfortunately you can't really know until you ride in traffic for 30 or more minutes, because it doesn't feel that hard when you pull it at first. It feels just normal. But I've ridden Hondas, I've ridden Yamahas, I've ridden Triumphs, I've ridden Harleys, and this is the hardest clutch I've ever had to ride in traffic. So that's one of the things that it's not going to be a good thing for this bike. But on the everyday commute, it's a really good bike to ride to work every day. Too much. The only thing I've changed is this little tail tidy, and this is not something I wanted to do. I just got rammed into by some idiot and broke my license plate holder, so I had to change it. So why not just go with the little tighter one? So what are we going to talk about today? Today we're going to talk about, well, if it's an honest review, we're going to talk about things I love about this bike. We're going to talk about things I don't like about this bike. And we're going to talk about things I hate about this bike. All right? And but first, let's talk about what this bike is. It is a naked sport bike. So basically what it is, what that means, it's a sport bike without the fairings. And that's exactly it. This engine is a 749cc inline 4. That's basically directly comes from the original GSX-S750. And it's been tuned differently, so you have a lot more from downstairs, right, from down low, but you still have some top end. It doesn't give you all the horsepower from the 750R, but you do have 117, 115, depending on who you ask. I'm pretty sure that's like 100 horsepower to the rear wheel. I haven't gone to the dyno, I haven't done any ECU flashing, I haven't done anything, I haven't even gotten an exhaust. I said I keep it stock, but it's still plenty of power for somebody who rides like I do, which is commuting and sometimes going on the weekends to some twisty curves, and we'll talk about that later. So, okay, so we're going to talk about things that I love about this bike, things that I like and things that I love. So one of the things that I like about this bike, or I love, I don't know, it's hard. The first thing, why I bought this bike. So I wanted an MT10. That was my dream bike. When I first started riding, I had a little CB190, and then I had a CB500, and I wanted a big bike. And the MT10, just looking at it, I loved it. So I went to Viva Power Sports when I was living in El Paso. Now don't go to Viva Power Sports, those guys are thieves, but I went there just to check the bike out. And next to it was a GSX-S750Z. No, not the Z, the blue one. And I love that bike. That bike was beautiful, so I love the aesthetic. So that's the first thing I love about this bike, which made me buy it. I love the way it looks, even better than the MT10. But the number one thing I love about this bike is that engine, man. That 750 from the GSX-R 750, that's 749 cc's of pure magic and of pure joy. And the third thing I love about the bike is that sound, man. You gotta love that sound. People say that inline fours are boring. Well, those people are stupid, because there's nothing more magical and nothing more lovely than to have that sound on tap whenever you want, every day. You have to have an inline four, especially from Suzuki. That induction sound, you can't get it anywhere else. So the three most important things that I love about this bike, it's not just that I like it, I love it. It's awesome. Now, what are other things? So the ergonomics, the looks, and the engine, and the sound. So that's actually four things. Let us stop and see what are other things that I like about this bike. So we have four things. Number one, engine. Number two, sound. Number three, aesthetics. Number four, ergonomics. Oh, we haven't talked about ergonomics. So the ergonomics of this bike are lovely. Okay. One other thing is the ergonomics. I am 5'6", 5'7", I don't know, depends on the scale and on the day, because I hunch. But my inseam is 32 or 31, and this is how it feels when I get on. As you can see, I'm tiptoeing a little bit, depends on the boots that you have, but it's very comfortable. Now the tank is wide and it's a little sporty. The only thing is the seat is not too big, so you're basically stuck in this position, which is not the greatest, but it's plenty comfortable. You have this sporty position, but it's upright, so you have the best of both worlds. Okay, so something else that I love about this bike. Now, people think that Suzuki's electronics are stupid. They're like, doesn't really matter, but until you lose it, if you never had it, you don't know what I'm talking about. But this thing, just push a button once and the bike starts. That is awesome. And in every other bike you have to stay there until the engine cranks like and then it starts. This is one of the best things about Suzuki's, the easy start. No other bikes do that, and this one does it. So the other one is the low RPM assist, which is another thing that people think, well, it doesn't really matter, why would you need it? But if you don't have it, especially when you're starting, because a lot of people, when you're starting, you stall the bike. It's gonna happen, you stall it. Well, you can't stall this one, right? It's basically impossible because it has that, you see? And it's a little electronic thing that just gives you a little bit more gas when you're letting go of the clutch. It's a low RPM assist. Love it. But you can't go wrong with that engine, that inline 4, man. It's awesome. I love it. All right. What else do I love about this bike? The price. You have to love the price, man. I am paying $117 a month. Cycle Shack North, big shout out to those guys. They are the best. They're gonna give you the greatest deal, because I've been to the different dealers. Everyone uses the same bank. Well, these guys, they don't want to charge you more for going to the same bike. They're gonna charge you what's fair. They're gonna sell you a bike. They're gonna make their money off of selling bikes, not off of selling the finance and all that stuff. Anyway, I love the price on this bike. Now that I have the R7, I mean, I still love it. I still love the R7, but this one is cheaper than the R7, and it's such a, I mean, it's so much better. It's so much better, man. It's just, it just feels more premium, more solid. It's awesome. And I've ridden it on twisties, and I've ridden it on highways, and I've ridden it for commuting. You can ride it anywhere. You put a tail bag on the back here, and you can even go touring on this bike. This is awesome. Well, another thing is it doesn't have a lot of fancy electronics. You don't need them. The only thing it has are the ABS and the traction control. It has 3 levels of traction control. You seldom use them because you don't need them. It's powerful, but not crazy powerful. So one of the things, well, you don't need all those electronics, so keep the cost down. That's good. But the traction control has saved my hide a couple of times because I bought different tires. It comes with the I don't remember the name of the tires that it comes with. It comes with, I don't know, that's the information right there. Bang. And they were good tires, but I saw some of my friends on their liter bikes, they have better tires for the twisties, and I thought it was like, oh, maybe it's the tires, that's why they're going so fast. Well, no, it's not. But anyway, I bought some Q3s Dunlop, and they were very good on the twisties, but when it started raining, they were slippery as hell, and the traction control saved my hide a couple of times. So yeah, good for Suzuki. Right now I'm riding the Michelin Power something they call. They're the ones for the road, and man, these are much better because they have as much grip as you want, but once it starts raining, you don't miss it. You have plenty of grip when it's raining, so very good. Those tires are awesome. All right. It also has a Nissan brakes. It has very soft, squishy brakes. They're not the greatest. It has very good suspension. Now this suspension comes from KYB, so it's not fully adjustable, but it does have some adjustability. But the KYB suspension is great on this bike. The brakes are terrible, but we'll talk about that later on. Let's talk about things I don't like about this bike. There are a few things. First, the dash, even though you can't see it now because of my little Dragon Touch, but the dash is old school. And I don't mind it being old school, but I would rather have it analog, the way an R6 has it, or the GSX-S750, because I like the analog tachometer. I like the analog tachometer, but this one has that 1980s dash, and no TFT, no, so that's something. Another thing is, well, it only has LEDs on the back light. Turn signals, headlights, everything is old school. And then a couple of things that I do hate about this bike. First is that the analog headlight, well, it gets so hot that it cracks. It cracks the whole assembly. So I need to buy that one. I don't know if the warranty is going to cover that because it's been 3 years. But I've seen that that's something that it's common. It's not just happened to me. It happens to these bikes. They crack the headlight because the bulbs get so hot. That's a problem. I mean, it's a mistake that they haven't fixed. And the other thing is, I have these disc locks so that people don't steal the bikes, and I keep forgetting to take them off. And it's happened to all my bikes. And this is the only one that the front fender has broken off into pieces, and I need to change that one, and I'm pretty sure the warranty won't cover stupidity. So, but I mean, the R7, the Fat Boy, the Street Glide, all of them, I've had that mistake happen to me on all those bikes, and this is the only one that didn't handle the lock, and it broke. So I hate that. It's like, well, come on, cheap plastic. Oh, wait. I still have one more thing that I don't like about this bike, and that is aftermarket. There's really nothing out there for this bike, and it's like there are a lot of things, and even though I'm not much into customizing, but if you're going to buy a bike like this and you want to customize, there's not a lot of things that you can do to it. You're going to have the same customization as everybody else, right? Like the bar and mirrors, and maybe that headlight made of LED that costs like $1,000, and maybe some paint, but there's not a lot that you can do. It's going to be the same bike as everybody else's. So would I buy it again? Well, not in 2022, because, well, even though they're more expensive, there are other options there that are a little bit better. One being the Duke 890, the other one being the Street Triple RS, or the Street Triple R, just because of the price. And well, Yamaha's MT-09, and especially the XSR 900. I think they are a little bit better bikes now. And even the Kawasaki Z900 gets a little bit more powerful, but I don't know. If I've never had it before, maybe I would still go with this one because of the way it looks, because of the way it rides, and everything. Yeah, it's been a noble steed, and I love it. Wait, how much am I paying for this bike? I bought this bike in 2019. I'm still paying for it, but I'm paying $117 for it every month, which is pretty cheap. I mean, you spend more on gas on any car. So
and I'm paying like $30 for full coverage insurance with Geico. I bought this bike at Cycle Shack North. A big shout out to those guys, they've been awesome. And I'm planning on trading this one in for the new GSX-S1000. So hopefully they get me a good price as well, so I can trade this one in. Sookie, love you, but 2.0 is coming soon. Well, thank you for sticking with us through this video. Hope you liked it. Remember to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, tell it to all your friends. If you don't like it, well, tell it to all your enemies so that they can watch it and hate it as well. Ah, Houston traffic. Don't you love it? Houston always smells like bad marijuana and skunk piss. So it's one of those things that you're riding, you're commuting, you're always riding your bike. That's what you're going to smell like, because you're going to smell like the street. Just something to consider.